Our coverage tonight begins with judicial matters. The National Judicial Council, under the chairmanship of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, has recommended 2 heads of court for compulsory retirement over judicial misconduct. The Council, at its 107th meeting held November 13 and 14, 2024, recommended the duo of the Chief Judge of Imo State, Justice T.E. Chukwuemeka Chikeka, and the Grand Kadi of Yobe State, Kadi Babagana Madi, for compulsory retirement for falsification of age. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Council's Deputy Director of Information on Friday in Abuja. The Council also suspended 2 judicial officers, Justice G.C. Aguba of High Court of Rivers State and Justice A.O. Nwabunike of Anambra State High Court, from performing judicial functions for 1 year without pay. To discuss this now, we're joined by lawyer and rights activist Deji Adeyanju. Deji, it's good to have you on the news. For some clarity, what does this decision by the NJC signify for judicial accountability in Nigeria? How does it demonstrate the Council's commitment to upholding the integrity of the judiciary?
Yes, let me first commend the NJC for this brave and courageous decision. But that is to say that more still needs to be done to cleanse our judiciary. Lawyers, people on the bench, the general public, the mass media, civil society, everyone has a role to play to ensure the impartiality of the judiciary, to ensure that our judiciary is cleansed of corrupt and bad elements within the system. This is the only way that we can truly make sure that, the judiciary remains the last hope of the common man.
I mean, is this enough steps, in your view, to begin to re-establish trust for the credibility of the judiciary?
Not enough at all. The principal stakeholders in the judiciary must ensure that the judiciary is immune from political interference, from executive, legislative, and interference from private persons. A judiciary will be said to be free from interference when the executive cannot influence its decisions, when the legislature cannot influence its decision, and when private persons, and like we have seen now of this decision by the NJC, the heavy hammer has come down on these judges that have been found wanting. The code of conduct for judicial officers is extremely, very stringent on the behavior and the forbidden impropriety that is not expected of a judicial officer. And the only way that this can be ensured is when everyone, both the stakeholders, litigants, lawyers, people must stay away from compromising judges. Politicians must stop interfering in administration of criminal justice and even justice as a whole. The executive must stop trying to compromise the judiciary. Private persons must stop trying to curry favors from judges. And lawyers in the temple of justice must be courageous enough to report judges, to the NJC.
I mean, there must be, for them to be courageous enough to report, there must be some buffers rather, to protect them from victimization and other issues, I guess. But that's not what I wanted to ask. I just wanted to add something to what you're saying. What I would like you to speak on now is particularly the implication for the judges in terms of maybe their future careers and potential civil or criminal action against them.
Yes, I was just about getting straight to that retirement is not enough. There must be prosecutorial steps to be taken against these people. When people are just given a pat on the back and allowed to go after committing grievous sin, in perversing justice, it sends a message that these people are immune from prosecution. These people must face the full wrath of the law. This is the only way that we can sanitize the judiciary and save our nation. Every nation, every lawyer or every judicial officer or even court officials who is involved in one way or the other in compromising the judiciary must be held accountable to the highest standard, whether they be justices of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, or the High Courts, or even other judicial officers, that they must be held accountable to the last dot, that whenever anybody is found wanting, they must face the full wrath of the law, because these are judges who sentence people to death. These are judges who jail people for 20, 21 years. These are judges who pass down all kinds of judgment. And when they are found to be wanting in one way or other, or corrupt, that they should face similar treatments that litigants who have come before them, who have been jailed, that they should face similar treatment. This is the only way to sanitize the judiciary.
What further actions do you expect to see from the current CJN towards redefining the confidence in the judiciary, especially with the conflicting judgments we see everywhere?
Yes, the CJN must go hard on judges and even litigants and even lawyers who engage in a multiplicity of suits, judges who give contradicting judgments. How can people give judgment against the decided position of the Supreme Court on defection? How can people, begin to make a mockery of the judiciary? This is why citizens are mocking us as a profession. This is why citizens are mocking the judiciary. The confidence of the citizenry in the judiciary is at its lowest ebb. The only way we can do this is to stay away from political interference of any sort. Nigerians have the right, have the locus to criticize judges who bring the judiciary into disrepute, and we must live above board. Okay. We must say no to political interference. We must say no to accepting houses being built for judges. The judiciary have their own budget. If the judiciary or judicial officers need houses, they should build houses for themselves. They should not allow FCT minister and politicians, state governors in the states to be building houses and dashing judges gifts of cars. These are the things that lead to compromise. When people begin to see as if the judiciary go cap in hand begging politicians or begging the executive, this is the issues, and this is what makes people not to have confidence in the judiciary, and the reason why people do not litigate. And also we must speed up the process of appeals. That even a court of first instance, we must ensure that litigants and cases are swiftly dealt with, so that people can have hope and even investors can have hope in investing in the country, and have hope in the judiciary that when cases are brought before the courts, cases are litigated speedily and things are decided timely as well.
Let's hold optimism. Thank you very much, Deji, for speaking with us.
Pleasure is all mine.
Staying with judicial matters, the National Judicial Council, chaired by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, has recommended 36 High Court judges for appointment at its 107th meeting held on November 13 and 14, 2024. A Friday statement posted on X and on the NJC website revealed that these candidates have been nominated for judicial appointments across various states, awaiting approval from the respective state governors. The recommendations include High Court judges, Sharia Court caddies, and the customary court judges across multiple states. At the 106th meeting in August, NJC nominated 28 judges alongside Kekereekun. Earlier in its 105th session in May, NJC recommended a total of 86 judicial officers for appointment into federal and state courts across the country. 16 governors in Nigeria have lost their bid to scrap the nation's anti-corruption agencies comprising the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. The Supreme Court dismissed the suits instituted by the governors against the Attorney General of the Federation, challenging the constitutionality of the act establishing the agencies for lacking in merit. News Centre's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
The suit, initially instituted by the Attorney Generals of 16 states, sought the scrapping of the nation's anti-graft agencies. While some states withdrew from the suit, others asked to be joined as co-plaintiffs. The states that instituted the suit include Kogi, Ondo, Edo, Oyo, Ogun, Nasarawa, Kebbi, Katsina, Sokoto, Jigawa, Enugu, Benue, Anambra, Plateau, Cross River, and Niger.
Had given a judicial blessing and pronounced on the constitutionality of the EFCC's Act's power, as well as the NFIU, and that the circular that was issued by the NFIU limiting the amount of cash that can be withdrawn from government account across the state, that it was valid and was constitutional. So what the Supreme Court has done in essence today is to enhance the powers of the anti-corruption agencies and to validate their activities, and to say that within our jurisdiction, financial crimes and all manner of corruption-related offenses will not be tolerated. So the Supreme Court had given a judicial blessings to the laws under which these agencies are working. And as I said in court today, that the court has now taken the phrase, if we do not take down the corruption, or if we do not kill corruption, corruption will kill us. So the Supreme Court has adopted...
Since the last sitting, which held on October the 22nd, many legal experts had predicted that the suit would be thrown away for lacking in merit. Despite Imo, Bauchi, and Osun State joining the suit as co-plaintiffs, Anambra, Ebonyi, and Adamawa State withdrew their support for the suit. In Abuja for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Coming up, President Tinubu calls for peaceful elections as Ondo governorship polls hold tomorrow. We have details after the break. Do stay with us. If you've just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Nigerian Judicial Commission recommends 2 judges for retirement, suspends 2 others. President Tinubu calls for peaceful election in Ondo State as governorship election holds tomorrow. Late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, laid to rest. And News Central's Southern African correspondent, cameraman regained freedom after wrongful arrest in Mozambique. An explosion from a truck loaded with cooking gas has left an unspecified number of people injured and caused at least 6 vehicles to be burnt in the border community of Magama, Jibia in Katsina State. The police spokesperson for the state, Abubakar Sadiq Aliyu, revealed this in a statement issued in Katsina on Friday. He said a loud explosion was heard by police operatives attached to the Jibia Divisional Police Headquarters, prompting the divisional police officer to lead a team to the scene in collaboration with military personnel. According to him, the State Commissioner of Police, Aliyu Abubakar Musa, has also directed a thorough investigation to determine the cause of the explosion. Let's now turn our attention to the elections tomorrow in Ondo State. President Bola Tinubu has urged all political stakeholders and the electorate to uphold peace and fulfill their civic responsibility without fear ahead of the elections tomorrow. The election is slated to be held across all 18 local government areas of the state on Saturday. We can confirm that residents of the Ondo State in Ilaje local government area have expressed their readiness for the upcoming governorship election. Some of them spoke to News Central, calling on citizens of the state to maintain the peace and ensure that the poll is conducted without incidents of violence. My colleague Amadine Uyi tells us more. All right, I'm told we will have that report shortly, but let's just go live now to our correspondent who is in Ondo State, Aberdeen Uyi. He's joining us to give us, I think it's better in person, one would think. Aberdeen, thank you for joining us. How are the people preparing for tomorrow's election? What is the sense you are getting? Is there tension or anticipation? Amadine, if you can hear me, I'm trying to find out from you what the atmosphere is like ahead of elections tomorrow. All right. We seem to have a little bit of a technical glitch. We'll try and come back to that live report. But for now, let's take the package he has put together for us.
It's the eve of the much-awaited Ondo State governorship election. For this riverine community, activities have continued as residents were seen going about their normal businesses. Some of them say they are prepared for the governorship poll.
We all are prepared to vote for the right candidates that are going to be our next governor. And by the special grace of God, nobody can buy our vote.
I have a sentiment for a party. I think that's why I'm moving. The point being is that as a member of, as a citizen, as an indigenous of this community, and as a citizen of Ondo State, I think it is my civic responsibility to vote.
We are prepared for it. More so that our sons are in the race. We have about 3 Elijah sons who are in the race. So the executive governor is there, and there are other candidates.
We are prepared very well. We know that tomorrow is a big day. We have to select our leader.
This is the Ugbonla community located at the larger local government area of Ondo State. You can see it's a largely riverine community, but that has not taken away the expectation for the polls. For some of the residents who we have spoken to, their expectations remain high, and they say they expect the polls to be free, fair, credible, and without any incidences of violence.
Security is the hallmark of election, so that where there is no peace, election cannot be. And so we need adequate security to be on ground for us to have a peaceful election.
We are appealing to everyone to ensure that we maintain peace. Because what is important to us as an Elijah person, what is important to me and to other elders is that we want an Elijah person to be the governor of this state.
I believe that due to the way we are seeing the security in the riverine area, we know that peace will reign. And I'm still advising our colleagues, everybody, so that in your polling units, you have to be vigilant. You have to look where anything that will cause problem, you have to avoid it. Therefore, for me, I know what I will do. Tomorrow, I will vote for my rightful candidate.
For them, despite expectations remaining high, they urge residents of the state to maintain the peace that has existed in the build-up to the poll. In Ondo State for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
All right, we have Amadine now joining us live from Ondo State, just hours before the polls. Just looking at that report, I could see the smiling faces of those who are anticipating tomorrow, hoping to cast their ballot. But then again, I remember there was a report earlier indicating there might have been some threats by hoodlums in the night before today. Can you confirm that or disregard it?
Okay, Felicity, those were allegations made by the People's Democratic Party, but for us on ground, we've not seen any threats of violence. You heard some of the residents who we spoke to earlier on. We are also in another community called Igbokoda community, also in Ilaje local government area, about 40 to 45 minutes from where that report was produced. And we've still not heard of any threats of violence. Maybe there are pockets in several areas where we have not visited. We cannot confirm that for now. But for areas that we have visited, everywhere is peaceful, and some of the residents are excited to cast their votes tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually saw that report in the Tribune newspaper, but you can confirm for us what the security officials are saying about their preparedness for tomorrow's election. Are they assuring the people that they can go about casting their votes without fear?
Yes, the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the elections yesterday spoke to newsmen, and he emphasized that for this poll, that there will be a minimum of 4 policemen attached to polling units. So we're sort of, if that really happens, we are going to see an oversaturation of policemen for the polls. Earlier today, we witnessed several show of force by patrol vehicles from not just the police, but also from the military, patrolling major streets, not only in Akure, the state capital, because we were in Akure earlier in the morning. We also visited Ondo town, we visited Ore, we visited Ilaje local government area where we are now, several communities, and have pitched our tent at Igbokoda community here in Ilaje local government area. And for what we tell you, there are major checkpoints, military checkpoints at major roads, and then police, we've seen them, very, very high presence of security operatives.
INEC is at the heart of everything tomorrow. How prepared are they?
Now, one thing that was spectacular was that as we were by the water side, by the jetty, we saw several boats carrying INEC officials, distributing them at the various rack centers across this part of the state. We had witnessed that earlier in Akure yesterday, but coming to another part of the state, because you know Ondo has a large riverine area where we have several thriving riverine communities. And we saw INEC deploying its staff and officials across several polling units. But one thing is certain, INEC has assured residents that it is ready for the poll. It says that it has highlighted several benchmarks for which it has achieved, and has assured residents that it has learned from the last general elections and the election at Ondo State, insisting that it will go all out to try to stop vote trading, that is vote buying and vote selling. We are hoping that this is true, and we are hoping that by tomorrow, when the polls will kick up proper, that these incidences will be curtailed.
Amadine, thank you for speaking with us, and do stay vigilant as you go about covering the polls tomorrow. Lovely pictures from Ondo State. Wish them the best. Away from election matters, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has conferred a posthumous national honor, the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, to the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. This was as the President led top government officials to the burial of the late Army Chief, whose remains was put to rest at the National Military Cemetery in Abuja. Our correspondent, Joshua Imarayi, was at the burial ceremony and filed this report.
It was an emotional moment as Nigeria's president and top government officials paid their last respects to the late Army Chief. Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja was described as a soldier who was selfless in his duties.
His transition to glory has left an indelible void in the heart of the armed forces, the nation, and in the lives of those who knew and served with him. Lieutenant General Lagbaja exemplified the finest ideals of military service, duty, honor, and country. We're going to use his passing away to resolve further to defeat all enemies of the state, wherever they are, whether within or outside.
Since receiving the news of his death, I have felt an indescribable sense of loss and pain in my heart. General Lagbaja was not only a courageous soldier, but also an inspiring leader who led from the front.
During his remarks, the president conferred the posthumous national honor, the commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, on the late Chief of Army Staff.
For me, he was a trusted advisor whose formidable intellect and breadth of knowledge served this nation well. As an eternal symbol of our appreciation, I've granted late Chief of Army Staff the posthumous national honor of Commander of the Federal Republic of Niger, CFR.
The memories of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, still remains ever fresh in the minds of family members, soldiers, and Nigerians in general. It is hoped that the eternal Creator grant them the fortitude to bear this loss. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Let's now tell you that after spending several years in captivity, a humanitarian worker and 2 other hostages have been handed over to the Borno State government at the Maimalari military cantonment. The individuals were held by insurgents for years in various hideouts across the region. News Central's Umaru Kirawa reports.
It was a day of freedom and smiles for these rescued individuals after enduring years in the custody of terrorists.
These are all handiwork of the terrorists that continue to expose their devilish act and ill intentions towards innocent civilians.
The Borno State government happily receives the rescued persons as part of effort to support them and facilitate for reunion with family members.
We also celebrate the government of Borno State through our governor for the synergy that exists between the military and the government. Because without the enabling environment, Borno State won't be enjoying the peace and stability we are witnessing today. It is that singular commitment and political will of the government that our sisters are able to escape, to be received by the military and officially being handed over today to the Borno State government. You can see they have been properly taken care of. If you see them on the road, you won't know they're even coming out of Sambisa, and that is because of the care they were given by the military.
The military used the opportunity to call on marauding terrorists to surrender or pay the supreme price for their actions.
The so-called terrorists, we see them as our brothers, and we will never get tired of urging them to come out and embrace peace, because that's the only way forward.
The rescued humanitarian worker, a nurse who worked with an international NGO before being captured, and her rescued colleague thanked the military for their tireless efforts.
For us coming out of there, it's not an easy task. But with God, all things are possible. And we really want to thank God for everything. And we want to thank God for the military. Coming to their place, it's just like, they are just like, I don't know what to say, but we really thank them.
Other families with loved ones still in captivity remain hopeful as the armed forces have pledged to rescue them and ensure peace throughout every corner of the region. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Kalbi International, a leading pharmaceutical company dedicated to providing accessible healthcare solutions, has announced a revitalized look for its popular cold relief brand, ProCold. Unveiled at the 97th Annual Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria PSN conference, the new packaging reflects ProCold's commitment to quality, innovation, and customer trust. The rebrand is part of a broader initiative to strengthen ProCold's position as a household staple for over 35 years, trusted by families across Nigeria for effective cold and flu relief.
The reimagined packaging retains Procold's recognizable branding while adopting a fresh, modern design. This evolution underscores Procold's dedication to adapting to the needs of today's consumers while maintaining its core promises, reliable relief from cold symptoms. With a clean contemporary aesthetic, the new packaging emphasizes both the brand's heritage and its forward-thinking approach to healthcare solutions. The rebranding comes with the tagline, "Fresh look, same effectiveness," reinforcing that while the look has changed, Procold's quality and trusted formula remain constant.
The world is changing, and so does our consumers' expectation. Their expectation will evolve, and also with this new packaging, we are targeting to get the younger consumer while maintaining our loyal consumer that has been loyal to the brand for many years.
The new design aligns with the brand's 3 core pillars. Procold as a household brand. With a long-lasting presence in Nigerian homes, Procold has become synonymous with trusted cold relief. The new packaging is a testament to the brand's commitment to every household, making it more identifiable and memorable. A solution for over 35 years. For more than 3 decades, Procold has become a reliable solution to colds in Nigeria. The updated look reflects its legacy while adapting to current design trends to better connect with both loyal and new customers. Trusted by Nigerians, Procold's established reputation as a trusted brand has been further strengthened with this modern update, underscoring Kalbe International's dedication to transparency and quality in every product it provides.
I believe that during this hardship of these conditions currently, it will not make an excuse for us to let go the quality. So we want to ensure with this new packaging, we still maintain the quality for every single Nigerians.
With Procold's refreshed packaging, Kalbe International aims to uphold its mission of providing healthcare solutions that are more accessible, effective, and trusted by millions. The rebrand also represents Kalbe's broader vision of making quality healthcare an attainable goal for families across Nigeria.
Procold Kalbe has been with us for over 35 years now, and in fact they were the trailblazer in this class of medicine. The drug is working and the drug is okay for cold and catarrh.
The new Procold packaging is now available at major pharmacies nationwide. The product will continue to deliver the same trusted formula Nigerian consumers have relied on for decades. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Bernard Akidi.
In celebration of the 76th birthday of the Majesty King Charles III, the British Deputy High Commissioner Johnny Baxter has played host to several dignitaries at his residence in Ikoyi, Lagos. The gathering was another chance to appreciate the bond that exists between both countries while looking forward to many more years of stronger diplomatic and economic ties. News Centre's Bernard Akede tells us more.
The relationship that exists between the United Kingdom and Nigeria is one that needs no explanation because of the history both countries share. So it was not a surprise for the Deputy High Commissioner to celebrate the birthday of His Majesty here in Lagos. The Deputy High Commissioner also used the opportunity to talk about future collaborations between both countries.
And breadth of these sorts of links that allowed my Foreign Secretary and Foreign Minister Tudor to sign a Nigeria-UK strategic partnership just 10 days ago. This looks ahead to even deeper trade links in the context of our enhanced trade and investment partnership, to further security cooperation, as exemplified by the recent visit of RFA Lime Bay and the regular training that we provide, and to a modernised development partnership.
The Lagos State Governor, who was ably represented, also sent well wishes to His Majesty and prayed for the ties between both countries to continue to grow.
On behalf of the people and government of Lagos State, I express our sincere appreciation for the deep historical ties between the United Kingdom and Nigeria, which have fostered strong cultural, diplomatic, and economic partnerships. As we look forward to continuing to building on these bonds, we celebrate Your Majesty's leadership as a source of unity and inspiration to all.
It was also a chance to celebrate the mutual economic benefits enjoyed by the two countries based on their existing relationship.
The United Kingdom and Nigeria were intricately linked, first through trade, later through colonial administration. The legacy of that time, while often a subject of great reflection and even difficult conversation, has also left us with an opportunity to rebuild and strengthen our relationship in a way that is mutually beneficial, respectful, and forward-thinking.
The rest of the evening was spent in celebration, wishing the king well and toasting to longer-lasting relationships between both countries, while a guest was lucky enough to go home with a free return flight ticket to the UK. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Bernard Akide.
News Central can now confirm that our correspondent in South Africa, Bongani Sisiba, who was arrested alongside cameraman Bonello Nkasibe while covering events in Maputo, Mozambique, has been freed. They arrived in Maputo on Wednesday to cover developments in the country, especially the protests that trailed the recently concluded presidential and parliamentary elections. They were, however, arrested and detained by the police in Maputo. Their arrest and detention had sparked outrage across the continent, with human rights organizations and journalist associations demanding their immediate release. They both spoke to us shortly after their release.
We were blindfolded the whole time. Imagine when you are blindfolded, but you know around you there are more than 5-6 guys holding guns. You don't know your fate, what's going to happen next. You can hear them talking. And the other thing is the language barrier, because they speak Portuguese and we don't understand Portuguese. So we don't know exactly what they were saying. So anytime, even if they are not saying, let's kill them, to us, we thought that we are dead. And anytime you would want to go to the bathroom, you are also blindfolded to the bathroom. And the other thing, I was so worried because my camera guy got sick. Now he couldn't take his medication. I'm watching him, he's fading away. There's nothing that I can do. I'm also, like when we are eating, we are only removed when they give us food, but all the time we were blindfolded. But let me just bring in Sibonelo also, just to tell us the ordeal that he went through. Sibonelo, that time we know we couldn't see each other, but you knew that I was there, and also you were worried about your life. Tell me what was going through your mind.
It was too much stress. It was too much torture that I went through that day. I'm never going to. I don't think I will ever go for that torture again. Those people were never nice. From the police station, they were never nice until those guys with the paraclavas came and they took us. I didn't say anything from the way to this place. I don't know the place. As Bongani has been saying it, we have been blindfolded all the time. Only the time that we remove the blindfold is when we can eat. Yeah, it was a very horrible experience.
We're all very relieved that they are both safe. OPEC monthly oil market report shows an increase in petrol importation to Nigeria. Perpetua Fasomi Peter has more on Business Tonight.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
In business, the volume of premium motor spirit imported into Nigeria surged in October. This is according to a report by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. This is despite the fact that Dangote Petroleum Refinery started producing petrol in September this year. OPEC, in its monthly oil market report, said though petrol imports still remains at a 60% low when compared to the same period in 2023, there was an increase in the quantity of PMS imported between September and October 2024. And still in West Africa, activity in Ghana's secondary bond market remained quiet, with total trade volume dropping by 62.45% to 229 million Ghanaian cedis. The February 2027 bond maturity was the primary focus, representing 51.8% of total trading, with its yield to maturity slightly decreasing to 23.37% from 23.72% the previous week. Short-term bonds dominated, accounting for nearly all trading, with an average YTM of 24.28%. Analysts predict that bond market activity will remain subdued, with Treasury bills continuing to dominate secondary market trading. And in East Africa, the stability of the Kenyan shilling can be attributed to a balance between dollar supply and demand. On one hand, export earnings provided a supply of dollars, which helped stabilize the currency. On the other hand, demand for dollars from the manufacturing sector and oil retailing companies, which typically requires dollars for imports, kept the exchange rate relatively steady. Friday morning, the shilling was quoted at 128.70 to 129.70, slightly better than Thursday's closing rate of 128.75 to 129.75. This is according to London Stock Exchange Group data. This equilibrium of supply from exports and demand from key sectors, particularly manufacturing and oil, helped prevent significant fluctuations in the value of the shilling. The near parity between these factors led to minimal changes in the exchange rate. And finally, market sentiment regarding a December rate cut by the U.S. Federal Reserve is increasingly uncertain as robust economic data empowers Fed officials to take a more cautious stance. Traders in the swaps market have now priced in only a 50% chance of a quarter-point rate cut next month, a drop from about 80% earlier in the week. This shift follows stronger than expected retail sales data, including an upward revision of the previous month's figures, pushing the 10-year Treasury yield to 4.5%, its highest since May. Fed Chair Jerome Powell highlighted economic resilience as a reason for gradual easing, with Fed Governor Susan Collins suggesting that while the December move remains possible, a slower pace of cuts may soon be necessary. And that's our offering on Business News at this time. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasamipita. The news continues shortly.
And in sports, TP Mazembe and ASFA are through to the semi-finals of the CAF Women's Champions League.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
And in sport, now University Spartans and Hoops and Reed became the first teams to qualify for the Nigerian Basketball League Final 8 semi-finals after securing back-to-back victories in their respective groups. The Spartans showcased their dominance with a commanding 62-45 win over Kwara Falcons in their opener and followed up with a 3-point win over Gombe Bulls 56-53. Hoops and Reed, led by their experienced core, defeated Police Barton 62-51 to make it 2-2 in the ongoing Final 8 playoffs. They had earlier dispatched Canopilla 73-66 points. Their qualification underscores their determination and ambition to claim the prestigious league title. Meanwhile, it was a stunner in the third matchup of the day as Canopilla stunned Boko City Chiefs 75-71 to end their 8-match unbeaten run. Defending champions Rivers Hoopers are also through after routing Kwara Falcons 89-34 points. And out of football, TP Mazembe and ASFA secured their places in the semi-finals of the CAF Women's Champions League with decisive performances in the group stage. TP Mazembe trashed Agles de la Medina 4-0 to finish second with 6 points, making history as the first team from the Democratic Republic of Congo to reach this stage. ASFA, the defending champions from Morocco, displayed their class and experience, finishing atop their group, defeating University of Western Cape 2-0. Both teams now set their sights on the semi-finals, aiming to edge closer to continental glory in the prestigious tournament. Still talking football, group winners Nigeria and the final day opponent Rwanda have both landed at the Obong Victor Atta International Airport in Uyo ahead of Monday's match day 6 clash in the concluding round of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying campaign. The Amavubi still have a mathematical chance of qualifying, though their fate is not totally in their hands as they need results in Libya to be in their favor. They missed a big opportunity to enhance their chances after losing at home to Libya's Mediterranean Knights on Thursday and can only make it to Morocco 2025 if they defeat Nigeria in Uyo and Libya are victorious against Benin Republic's cheaters in North Africa on Monday. The Super Eagles confirmed group winners have nothing to chase other than national pride. Meanwhile, South Africa moved to the top of Group D in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers with a 2-0 away victory over Uganda on Friday. Tapelo Morena found the back of the net with a composed finish from the center of the box, putting the visitors ahead. Uganda tried to respond, but the Bafana defense held firm. South Africa eventually doubled their lead in the 89th minute through Patrick Mashagwanyi, who capitalized on a well-timed pass from Ikram Reiners. The win pushes Bafana ahead of the Crane, although both teams have already secured tickets to the CAF AFCON 2025 in Morocco. Meanwhile, in Group C, Botswana managed a 1-1 draw against Mauritania, keeping their hopes for AFCON qualification alive. Egypt, the other team in Group C, who are already through, were held to a 1-1 draw by Cape Verde. And to wrap up sports update, Carlos Alcaraz is on the verge of exiting the 2024 ATP Finals following a straight set defeat by Alexander Zverev in Turin. Second seed Zverev secured top spot in the group with 7-6, 7-5, 6-4 win and will face American Taylor Fritz in the semi-finals. Wimbledon and French Open champion Alcaraz, who only won one of his 3 group matches, must wait the result of tonight's match between Andrei Rublev and Casper Ruud. He will be out if Norway's Ruud takes a single set against the winless Russia. And that wraps it up on Sports Update. I'm Favor Itwa.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And now in entertainment tonight, Nigerian music video director and filmmaker Clarence Abiodun Peters has shared his opinions about international recognition in the Nigerian creative industry. Speaking during Hot Topics special earlier today on Judiciary, he dismissed the importance of awards like the Grammys and MTV Awards, focusing instead on the need for a thriving local market in Nigeria. The filmmaker highlighted economic challenges as a major reason why Nigerians often look to foreign markets for validation. He lamented how the depreciation of the naira has affected local industries, especially music and entertainment. Clarence also criticized the modern music scene for pandering to international audiences rather than focusing on what resonates locally.
I don't care about the Grammys. I don't care about the MTV Awards. I don't care about any of these awards. They don't do anything for me. They don't do anything for my country. Contrary to what most people think, oh, if we're accepted, I don't care about the world's acceptance of us. I believe the world has no choice. We have over approximately 17 million people in the diaspora, all right? We are a little over 220 million people. I believe the world would care about what we care about if we do it well. Yes. So that's standard, right? This validation that we are constantly told because they feel this and people, because the international markets would, we have some sort of representation and all of that. I don't care about that.
Still in the news, Offset, a member of the Migos, was involved in a street brawl with the crew of French rapper Gazo during his visit to Paris. The clash reportedly arose over dissatisfaction with Offset's appearance in a music video, for which Gazo's team had paid $150,000 up front. Allegedly unhappy with the outcome, Gazo's crew confronted Offset, demanding a refund. Footage captured by TMZ shows the altercation escalating outside the Hotel du Collectionneur, with Offset and his entourage exchanging blows with Gazo's team. The chaos spilled into the hotel lobby where police intervened. Despite the tension, no arrests were reported. Hours later, Offset shared a reflective post on Instagram, hinting at channeling his frustration into his music. Interestingly, Gazo himself was not present during the fight. Instead, he later posted photos with Offset on Instagram, promoting their collaboration on the track Wemby from Gazo's upcoming project Apocalypse, set for release on November the 29th. The post suggests no lingering animosity between the two artists.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
That is all tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Nigeria Judicial Commission recommends 2 judges for retirement, suspends 2 others. President Tinubu calls for peaceful election in Ondo State as governorship election holds tomorrow. Late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, laid to rest. We also brought you news that New Central Southern African correspondent, cameraman, regained freedom after wrongful arrest in Mozambique. You can catch up on all the latest stories by watching News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. Thank you as always for watching. Have a good night rest.